series of anti-Semitic rants are finally catching up with Kanye West. He was dropped by his talent agency after running a Super Bowl ad that ran in some markets that tricked viewers into going to a website that sold Nazi merchandise. A former Jewish employee also filed a lawsuit against him, but he's been pulling these vile comments, saying these bad things for years. Why wasn't there more outrage over him?
Because he can say whatever he wants to say. So, guys, stick with me. I'm going to really try to, you know, sorry, guys. I'm going to really try to touch on this topic without stepping in lava, but at the same time, this is the channel for the inconvenient truth. Thank you to everybody who watches these videos. And, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. So what they are talking about is Kanye's tweets towards a certain group of people. Now, I'm not going to continue to say the group of people because I feel like YouTube will pick up some sort of, thing and then like ban this or something from the algorithm. I'm so sincere. So that's the only reason why I'm not going to say it, right? I'll say it a few times. But I'm superstitious that way. It just is what it is. I mean, the ADL does work with YouTube to make sure that nothing anti-Semitic gets through. Okay? And you know how I feel about subjective labels. If anybody's been watching this channel. Kanye can say whatever he wants to as long as he's not saying we're going to go hurt a certain group of people at 4:30. He can say whatever he wants to, and that's just a fact. You don't have to like it. I don't have to like everything that anybody says. And I'm never going to stop feeling that way. It doesn't matter. It like the only topic, like I feel like if it's something threatening kids, that's different. But then again, that's threatening kids. Like that's not just that's harming children, that's different. And look, when it comes to kids, maybe that's when my hypocrisies will come out. Like, well, you're not that much for free speech happens. You're right. Yeah, maybe, but that's not what we're talking about here.
There should be, and I'm glad we're talking about on this show because I feel like for some reason Kanye's been given a pass, and I know there's a perception that he
has not been given a pass. He has not been given a pass. When this happened before, they debanked him. Adidas almost lost their whole, company because nobody's buying shell tops. They were buying Yeezys, and Adidas removed Yeezys from their company catalog because of what he said. Until they finally had to bring them back because they were about to lose everything. Nobody's wearing shell tops.
have some mental health issues, but there are tens of millions of people around this.
We cannot keep saying somebody's crazy simply because they say things that we don't like. I'm going to try not to keep hitting the stop button.
Country who have mental health issues and are not saying bigoted, racist, anti-Semitic things. I think it's a cop-out. I think he needs to be called out, especially on the heels of the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust on October 7th. There's a rise globally in anti-Semitism, and this man, get this, he has more social media followers than there are Jews in the world. He does have influence. There are people who are looking to him, especially young people, and he should not be normalized. He needs to be called out for his hate.
There are only 16 million Jews in the world.
I really don't care how many there are. Because I don't care how many black people there are in the world. I don't care how many Haitians there are. I don't care how many Haitians there are in the world. I don't, all that don't mean, I don't even know what are we counting? Damn, we're always counting something, right? Like, what is this? What are we doing? Remember, this channel, and I've touched on the subject before, actually, when he went to dinner with Nick Fuentes and Donald Trump. And I was like, what are we doing being so concerned about these people eating with Donald Trump when the country is a mess right now? This is when Joe Biden was president and we didn't have any, our dollar was getting ready to crash, all of this, which it still kind of is. But anyway, BRICS was coming up, looking at war with China, all kinds of confusion. Everything was all high and expensive. And I'm like, y'all got time to worry about who Donald Trump is eating lunch with? If he's not eating lunch with a pedophile, then I don't care. Seriously. And that's when I said, abolish the term racism, abolish the term anti-Semitism, abolish all these terms. And I mean it. I do mean it. This is not in promotion of anything. I don't have to promote Kanye. Be clear. I don't. But I'm a Christian, right? And when I say that, I mean, the truth lands where it falls. And that's just a fact.
16 million in the entire world.
David
What is it,
Schwimmer-
2 billion
Yeah.
more people in the world.
David Schwimmer,
Yeah.
the actor, wrote Elon Musk and said that to him to ask that Kanye West be removed from X and said that, Kanye West has 32.7 million followers on your platform X. That's twice as many people than the number of Jews in existence. His sick hate speech results in real life violence against Jews.
I don't know how he's allowed to walk red carpets and do all the things because he's still, the past is you keep seeing him pop up and it's not crazy fringe things. It's literally at the Grammys and he's walking the red carpet.
Was he actually invited to the Grammys?
No.
He
didn't have
left
a
on his
seat.
own. He left on his own.
They said he didn't have a seat.
Well, there was mixed
don't know.
reviews, but it is understood that he was, if you're taking pictures and you're all agreeing, there are times where, Sunny, remember that time you fell on the red carpet and the camera people said, don't take, no, you, no, Sunny
dare you
said,
call that
No, Sunny told the story here and she talked about how it was great. The photographers all said, we're gonna not
We're
post
not
these
gonna-
pictures.
we're not gonna show-
There's a way of
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
stepping together and I
Why,
think
were you sleeping with them?
no, but the best way to divide people is to keep dividing them by groups. And there was a great and powerful letter written by Leor Cohen, who was the key executive at Def Jam. He wrote an open letter, and he talks about the Jewish and Black experience sharing a rich history of collaboration from, he goes on to talk about jazz, the blues, Motown, and he says, use your platform to build upon the love and understanding that have always existed between our communities.
That's what I don't understand. Like there's something.
Before Sunny gives her taken, I'm pretty sure after this episode, I'll probably lose followers, and I don't care. Not that I don't care about people who are watching. I'm very grateful to every eye that literally every eye that lands on these videos. I believe that you deserve the best. I believe you deserve, top notch information, top notch opinion, and inconvenient truth, number one. Okay. But with that said, I cannot pretend to feel one way when I don't feel that way. Okay. That said, Leor Cohen had the nerve to write a open letter about the Black and Jewish experience in America. Leor Cohen is a man who owns a record label that promotes the degeneracy that you see in the hood today. And don't get me wrong, because Black people, you do not have to do what you see on MTV or whatever else, but let's be real. This man has stepped into the breakfast room and said, yes, he took advantage of, of talking about the drugs and everything. And when Charlemagne basically asked him, you don't feel bad about doing that, like promoting that or whatever. He's like, somebody's got to do it. Like, oh, well, it is what it is. Now you want to talk about this, but we held hands? What do you mean? You want to keep it real? The NAACP was started by Jewish people and Black people couldn't be in it in the beginning. Okay? Like, I'm not here to pretend. It's not about even what Kanye said, but it should bring up a real conversation. Like I told you, we are heavily about the ADL. This episode, I just feel like talking about this, I guess, because I highly doubt anybody. I'm not here to sugarcoat it like Sunny and them getting ready to do. By the way, when Alyssa brings up October 7th, don't get me wrong, that was a very tragic thing, absolutely very sad. I get that, how people still feel hurt about it, but nobody talks about the current genocide that's going on in Palestine. Do you know that there's almost 600,000 Palestinians have been killed? I'm not here to lie to you or to say things just to look cool. Nobody talks about that. And if I try not to be extreme with this, but the thought is that they're a threat to these people's existence. I have a problem with that. I'm not going to hold you. I do.
Really wrong going on here with Kanye West. The African American community and the Jewish community have always been tied because both communities have been so oppressed. I mean, they work together. Remember that famous picture where you had the rabbi and Martin Luther King Jr. walking together, fighting oppression together, oppressed.
The worst thing you could ever see. Sorry, y'all. I might be too much for y'all. The worst thing you could ever see. This togetherness did nothing for Black people. I'm serious.
People must fight together. And so the fact that a Black man would be so openly violent and anti-Semitic, it's just so jarring to me. And I don't want to blame it on mental health issues because, as you've mentioned, there are plenty of people that have mental illness that aren't saying bigoted things.
But you're right. I mean, they should
don't
stick
get
But
it.
they
together.
don't even need to know it to comprehend wrong and right. You know,
Well,
like they.
But if you're a compulsive attention seeker,
Maybe
that
it's
is
that.
in itself a mental.
So my issue with Kanye is this. You know, because he takes it to a whole different extreme, you know. We started posting a lot of degeneracy on the app and everything. And I don't promote that at all. Whatever Kanye does, I think he's allowed to do it anyway. I think that Kanye is surrounded by a bunch of people who want nothing good for him. And I think that sometimes you have to put your life on the line to get out of a situation like that. Do you believe in Christ or not? Um, so I am kind of disappointed in Kanye, but I'm not in his shoes, you know, whatever. But you know, he can say whatever he wants to say, just like I say about everybody else. Okay, but I'm not also going to sit here and act like you know, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you know, how can you feel this way about these people? Well, I have a bias too towards black people who continue to do crime. Nobody has I get a medal for that, right? I based, you're so based when I say that, right? But if I say that Jews and blacks together in history fighting so-called oppression was not a good thing for black people, suddenly everybody loses their mind. I'm a bad guy. I just be I just all I know how to do is be me and talk about the inconvenient truth. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.